Okay then. Reality space tomorrow. Only this one's for real.
What do you mean?
I mean that whatever happens in reality space, it happens for real. All the safeties are turned off. Do you still want to play?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Welcome to Series 4, Episode 36 of Conversation on Eagle Mountain, a podcast about the tribe. I'm your host, Lance, and joining the podcast panel today is Liz.
Hello.
Sabine.
Hi.
Tamsin.
Hi.
And a very warm welcome to our guest for this episode, Stuart.
Hello.
With episode notes done by Matt and myself. So before we dive into this episode, we of course have our rite of passage for all new guests, where we go through their vital tribe statistics. So Stuart, to kick us off, what's your favourite and worst tribe series?
Okay, so my favorite is definitely season 1. I felt like the characters were all just amazing shades of grey and the story was incredible. The worst season, I mean, it has to be this one. I've honestly really tried to give this season a go. I remember, I watched it on YouTube quite a few times, and I can't get really through it anymore. But I'm here now, and give me another go.
What's your favourite and worst tribe character?
Trudy, because she is, I find her very relatable because I also have struggled with my mental health, and I've worked very hard to get there, and I can see that journey reflected in Trudy quite a lot. And with Ebony, it's like I love how bad she can get. I just love how just really nasty. The worst character I have to say, probably Gel. Like I can't stand her. Like she's just so utterly annoying. Yeah. Like there's just no substance there. Like at least Sandra had motive, like brains.
Mm-hmm. All right. And do you have a favourite tribe couple?
Oh, um, that's a tough question. So I really liked, my favorite has to be Lex and Tysan. They really worked on their relationship, and I feel like they just they made each other better people, and that's much more that I can say for Lex and Zandra's relationship. Lex and Siva, I feel like season 4 Lex, he really put the work into. Like he was at his most evolved in terms of relationships.
Cool. And do you have a fantasy couple?
That is. I'm gonna say Jack and Dal. Just like I wanted to see them kiss just once. Like Dal really pushed for Jack, and I really do enjoy them together. Yeah. Trudy and Hawk, because I feel like Hawk really saw Trudy, and he was a very good person to have in her corner.
Your favourite and worst tribe storyline?
Oh, my favorite storyline, it has to be when the Chosen take over the city. Like, the Mall Rats are just so busy fighting amongst themselves to not even notice, hey, the Chosen are back. It's just like, get with the program, guys. Like, something's going on in the city. Trudy's back. You don't think there's some sort of connection here? Yeah. And then I love how at the end on the beach, the Chosen are just so victorious, and I'm just like, yeah, you guys did earn this, but it's also like, God damn it. The worst storyline. What is the worst storyline in my opinion? Oof. Probably, I want to say it's the, I want to say it's the game because honestly, I could never really get the appeal of it. Yeah, and it just seems silly. Apart from that, but it's also tying in with the whole mega Slade reveal. Like, I could never, re- couldn't buy it because it's just once again, you're recycling the brothers trope. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have a favorite tribe style?
Oh, yes. Great question. I loved Trudy's look right before she got kidnapped in season 3. I liked Ebony's most of her season 2 costume for like once she got out of that flamey thing. Um, oh, and Lex in um his that mesh shirt because oh my gosh, I have to tell you that was probably my favorite uh, costume to be honest because when I was younger I had that was my awakening as a queer person. Like I went to bed after watching an episode of The Tribe on ABC3 and then I turn over in my dream and there's Lex just wearing his mesh shirt. He's like, "Hi," I'm like, and then I woke up like, "Oh dear."
Okay. And to finish us off, do you have a favorite tribe music?
Beep beep. Nah.
It happened.
Finally. Finally.
No, actually, it is the Messiah. Like, I love that Messiah to pieces. Yeah. And also Tribe Spirit, but I also feel like Tribe Spirit it lures you in because it's like it sounds like the original show, but we know it's not. But I still love it anyway. It's like season 4 onwards, this isn't the same show, and that's about it.
Oh, cool. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right. So, Series 4, Episode 36. The screenplay was done by Tony Osborne. It was directed by Ian Moon. And the episode synopsis we read out by Stuart.
Jay is affected by the arrival of a patient at the new hospital. Siva is encouraged to change her behaviour if she wants to fit in at the mall, while Ved's search for CLOE puts him in conflict.
I was gone one day, just one day, but it was a day too long. I realized when I got back from the council. We went into the city and scrounged for medicine, but it was too late.
It wasn't your fault.
Wasn't it? If I'd found the medicine sooner, just one day, a few hours, and she'd have lived. I'm sure of it. People shouldn't have to die because they cut their finger. There should be hospitals in this world, Patch. And the knowledge to heal. That's why I joined RAM. You understand?
A patient is brought into the hospital, unconscious with a fever, which brings back painful memories for Jay of his old girlfriend. He stays with her, telling Patch how his responsibilities in his old tribe meant it was too late last time, leading to her dying of something that should have easily been treated. It is this event that prompted Jay to join the Technos despite the costs. So panel, this opening scene, how do you react to Jay's preoccupation with Ginny and his tragic backstory?
Jay, calm down, please. I feel that I didn't understand why he was so stressed, and I, I don't think it really added anything to the character. Like, he's already shown himself to be quite a selfish person, and now the writers are trying to, like, gaslight us into liking him. No.
Well, I think the whitewashing is beginning, isn't it, with Jay? They're trying to rehabilitate his character.
It's not beginning.
No, but you know what
They
I mean.
started quite
Yeah.
a while ago.
We're getting the end of him being like a techno, really, aren't we?
Yes. Ah, such a shame.
But can I just ask, we kind of already had this story, didn't we? When he told it to Pride, but I
Mhm.
thought she died of. I thought she was diabetic. Did I just make that up in my head?
No, she was.
No, it's just that he was kept it very vague when he told both
Right.
Pride and Ebony. Each time there's something he's not disclosing. So with Ebony, he doesn't disclose that this was his girlfriend. He just insinuates she was somebody special. Um,
Yeah.
and then with Pride, he's leaving out information. So we were trying to figure out what was wrong with her. And I think we suggested that maybe she was diabetic or something like that.
Right.
Like there was medicine. He doesn't refer to like she had an infection or something like that. He's just like, do you know what it's like to watch someone you care about die because the medicines weren't there to save them? But again, we weren't actually told what it was. And now here we're getting the same story with more details thrown in. And it does make you question his motivations each time. Like this feels, I know that it's a tiresome trope, but this is probably the most sincere Jay has been in retelling the story of the
Yeah.
person. One, he's honest off the bat. It was my girlfriend. I lost my girlfriend, and he actually goes into explanation as to what kept him from being able to save her. That he was the leader of a tribe. The tribes were a mess at the time, and he was consumed with his leader duties. He had to put off going to find her medicine, and it was one day just too late. So it delved further into why he carries the guilt of her death instead of just this cliche, oh, I lost somebody, but he genuinely felt responsible for her death and actually explains why he feels that responsibility. This is the first time it doesn't feel like he's just trying to get brownie points with somebody. He was definitely trying to shine Pride on when he gave the story so that Pride wouldn't think he was so terrible, you know, and he was definitely being careful of how he told Ebony, because he was attracted to her. So that's why he doesn't commit to the fact that, yes, I was in love with the person I lost. This is the first time he's talking to someone, and I actually believe him that this person mattered to him, how her death affected him. Um, it it's not bad on its own, in my opinion. What makes it not work as the whole, this is Jay's motivation, is that there's too many scenes where if you want us to believe that Jay joined the Technos knowing there would be a cost, but he was just so single focused on fixing the world so something like this wouldn't happen again. You have to do it more like Danny. It was handled better with Danny. Danny was also one of those people who felt responsible
Yeah.
Yeah.
for the world ending and was single-minded in getting the world fixed. But you could see that she had bad methods, but it was clear how genuinely Danny cared about fixing the world, how this lived rent-free in her mind. You saw the conflict she felt when she might take something too far, or it made people not like her or not trust her. You could see how desperately Danny wanted a family to belong to and people she could be honest with about her life. So you believed
Yeah.
Danny when Danny said, look, my dad did this and it's my job to fix it. And he didn't tell anyone because he was trying to keep me alive. And it's on me to make it right. You believed her. You were like, damn, girl, that's a lot to carry. But when Jay tells you, I carry this guilt, I carry this trauma, and I don't care who had to be enslaved if it meant I would never lose someone like this again, it doesn't work because there were so many times that Jay never showed any sense of conflict watching people be enslaved, the things he had to do. There was never a moment where Jay seemed like, I know this is wrong. Keep your eye on the prize, Jay. He walks into the city smug about kidnapping people, lying to the people's face
Yeah.
about what's happening to their loved ones, being very callous about the fact that he's hurting people to achieve his goals. So when he finally sincerely tells you, dude, I am traumatized and I am doing everything so that it never happens again, you're just like, yeah, you're still a dick though,
Yeah. Yeah, I have to agree with that. Yeah, Danny definitely had the weight of the world on her shoulders, and Jay he's just a dick. I wanted to just give Danny a hug. I'm like, honey, you don't have to do this on your own. You don't have to do this at all. You just have to be you. Don't take on all this responsibility because you're just a kid.
I'm just thinking the only person who actually got some brownie points with me after that story is Ved, because Jay refers to Ved saying he shouldn't go, that he should take care of her. Like, I get the city had issues, but I don't know, I like the fact that he points out that even Ved thought he should just take care of her, he shouldn't go.
Yeah.
This whole story, though, feels it feels like Bray B-roll. It doesn't feel like it's actually connected to Jay when he talks about the tribes and that he was a leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does. Could you imagine if Bray and Jay actually met in the show?
Wow.
That would be
They
interesting.
would have been so annoying together.
Wouldn't Jay just short out if he met Bray, though?
Nah, if we had both of them, then we would actually be allowed to see Jay as a villain.
Oh, yes. I would love to have seen Jay more as a villain. Just,
Yeah.
he was so sinister just in that episode where he just came into Ebony's bedroom, put his mouth over, like his hand over her mouth, and I'm just like, no, do not, please do not, because that was just so awful to watch.
I think the writers seem to be afraid of the darkness in a lot of the characters. Like you were talking about season 1, Stuart, and I think a lot of the characters were kind of morally grey. Like you had Lex, and you had Ebony, you had Zoot. There was a lot of darkness within the main cast,
Yes.
and they seem to have shied away from that.
Yes, I have, definitely. I especially loved it when Sandra, like, she had Tai-San's life in her hands
Yeah,
and she was going to kill her. And I'm just like,
yeah,
well, where is that energy gone? Why can't you continue this energy? And it's like, it does upset me how whitewashed these characters are into just white and dark. No, keep them grey.
yeah.
I wonder how much of that was a choice and how much of that was mandated
Yeah.
by by Channel 5.
Do you think it might also be because of the age feels like it's changed? It feels like this is writing now for a much younger audience. Maybe that's also something to do with it.
Well, I mean, it's
Most likely.
clear that that's basically why they
Yeah.
went the route they went. They really started, I mean, yeah, when you look at some of the stuff, it's like it implies something dark, but they don't commit to any of the darkness. And that's not they're focusing on. Whereas before, when they had people do dark things, they actually wanted to explore what drove them to do such dark things, what motivated them, and so you were enmeshed in the darkness of the direction that you could go, living in a world like this and trying to fight against that darkness. And now the darkness is used more like garnish to keep your attention, but they're not exploring it, probably because, as Sabine mentioned, there was probably more standards and censorship they had to deal with. And so they went with this more of a lighthearted tone where they hint at darkness. Like, the idea that Ram keeps a harem of women, and exploits their digital selves. And but we only hint at it. We don't really explore his psyche and what makes him think he's entitled to do something like that, or how does he feel about using women that way, or how his wives feel about being used that way, how it affects them, on and on. So yeah, it age probably had a lot to do with it, because you can get away with some dark stuff the younger your audience is, but you're only going to hint at it, and you're not going to really mire yourself in it. And it's just jarring because it's the same show, unfortunately. And with each season, whatever the age group was, it was getting lighter and lighter and lighter until we get here in season 4, and it's unrecognizable, But I think Sabine's right. It definitely had to do it. Just we can't get away with it anymore, or we don't want to be as careful. We don't want to have to try to be as careful. So
Wasn't the audience teenagers? And obviously, like, it was supposed to be a family show, but it felt like it was aimed at teenagers primarily.
that's what I thought. But
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Because just think back to season 1 for a second. I mean, yeah, right now we have Ram with his implied harem, whereas then we had Celine selling her body for food.
Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
That's like, it's such a different approach.
Mm. We also had all the Alexandra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was such a tough watch.
And Top Hat.
Oh, that kid knew how to act as Top Hat. I have to say, like, oh,
It's odd. I've seen a lot of shows that have like changed tones between seasons and stuff, but I've never seen a show change its age group, its targeted age group, drastically halfway through.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I have never witnessed that before. It's actually mad.
Oh wait, Doctor Who did. Do you remember, like, when Tom Baker's last season, like, it was a family show at first.
A tonal shift. That was a big, yeah, it was a big tonal shift, but the age group that it specifically targets,
Mm.
the
Oh,
tribe
yeah.
just went way low than we used to be. Yeah, odd.
Yeah, I'm suddenly thinking, I would never let my 10-year-old watch the earlier seasons yet, but season 4, sure.
Perfect jumping on point, Sabine.
Nah, I wouldn't subject him to season 4. That's just mean. But
Oh yeah.
And it's not even a bad concept to decide to. We're used to seeing. This is what's interesting about them going backwards in their maturity of storytelling and themes. It's that we're used to seeing things go forward in their maturity and themes because the audience is growing up with it. You know, I think Harry Potter is a perfect example. You know, it was written, the first book is written for kids about the same age as the young wizards in the story. So it's much more lighthearted fare because that was the audience. But with every book, they recognized the audience that read the first book is a few years older. So and so are the characters. We will let the story grow with them. And they're not the same book. Like Sorcerer's Stone and the Deathly Hallows aren't anywhere close to being the same, except they have magic and they're mysteries, you know what I mean? And you have to solve the mystery. But when you think about the tone, it got much darker because the audience grew up. And that's the sort of thing we can accept watching a show or a book series or something do, because it pulled you into their world, got you used to stuff. And then, you're like, okay, I'm ready for the next morphing elevation of what we're doing here. It's so rare to see something go backwards. And we're like, wait, what? Like, why that direction? That's such an odd direction to go in.
Yeah. I was gonna say as well, like, it feels like maybe it's the tone in season 4 that makes season 5 so much more appealing, because it's like it feels less on the technology and more on, like, just, I don't know. What is it about season 5 that makes it so much better? Oh, I lost that chain of thought, I'm sorry.
Maybe it's because 4 is so bad.
Yeah.
It can't fall any farther, any sort of improvement.
Yeah, that's probably...
This has made me wonder, though, with the tone of season 4 being geared towards so much younger, and how much it annoys us because we started at season 1. I wonder if that's what makes season 4 liked by the people who originally started with season 4. Because they actually got to watch it with, like, season 4 or season 5, and then they got more mature.
Yeah.
When they rewatched the rest. Might not feel as dumbed down for them.
Meanwhile, Siva continues to struggle to live at the mall without putting everyone else's backs up.
If you weren't such a pain, maybe stuff like this wouldn't happen.
Go on.
I mean it. You gotta start living in the real world.
I don't know how.
Well, you could start by trying to be nice to people.
Taking his advice, she tries to cook for the tribe, with unfortunate results. So yeah, panel, just general question, like, what do you think of Lex's tough love approach to Siva? Siva's complete incompetence here, and what do you make of her new outfit?
It felt like a replay of Lex and Sandra at different points.
Yep.
The way he spoke to her, it was It's giving me flashbacks.
Oh, you're right.
Sandra had more practical skills than this, though.
Yes, but the way
Yeah.
he was speaking to her,
Yeah.
laying it down, it was just like, oh, this is so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I feel like she was so entitled as a techno, and it's just so nice to watch her come down. It's just like, yeah, you shouldn't have treated the kids this way, or anyone. And it's just, I feel like her treatment of her was valid initially, but then, yeah, it just didn't, it's just not nice. And the kids are just being kids. Just like, leave them alone. They just got water guns. It's not like it's hot sauce.
It's not molasses and feathers.
Oh, yes. Oh, that was so nasty.
It felt a little lazy for me. It's not that I don't buy that, the sisters clearly at the end of the virus already had spoiled and entitled attitudes about life and being better than certain people, on and on. We saw Ebony from the start, in season one, her attitude sort of things. And it's very easy to believe that Siva and Java were similar. And clearly the girls, Siva and Java, got in with the technos and got to live in a comfortable position of privilege this whole time. That's what they've been doing. Where Ebony's had to fight for every scrap and manipulate and blackmail and, plan murders and all that stuff. And we've seen how that's made her had to evolve and stuff like that. The girls, her older sisters, instead, they didn't have to go through all that. It seems like pretty much the entire time of the virus, they've been in this position of privilege and entitlement. So I'm like fine with that, but I do still think it's lazy in the sense that they act as though Siva just doesn't know how to people at all, which we've already seen that Siva can people. She people's fine. She can read the room. She recognizes when, oh, I went too far with that, or that's not how I should handle this situation. She still has social skills, even with an entitled, privileged point of view. You know what I mean? She still is actually sensitive to how other people feel. So I do think more thought could have gone into illustrating how entitled Siva sees herself, how superior she sees herself to the Verts, letting her prejudices show. But also not forgetting that Siva knows how to be a human being. She does know how to do that. She's lived this long. She grew up with two sisters and she was literally in the
Yeah.
middle of them. Middle children tend to learn how to people the best because they have to juggle an older person and a younger person and they're in between all the time. They're actually better. They're better at smooth talking, ending conflicts. So I just think they took the lazy way out by acting like Siva's never dealt with another human being in her life. And I don't buy that. I don't, especially if this was our first impression of Siva, then fine. But it's not our first impression of Siva. We've been watching her and the way she interacts at the hotel with the other technos, even with just Lex alone, with other verts on the street. We've seen her compassion. So just suddenly, oh, she's in the mall and and it's like, oh, this is who you've been under all that. Like, I'm sorry, it feels very lazy to me. And again, there was a better way to show her prejudices, her entitlement, and her having to adjust living here. And I don't think they put much effort into it, but her outfit's cute.
Oh no.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
it, it speaks to a playful energy that she deeply has inside, almost a lost childhood still inside too.
I know
Oh,
Tamsin's got
see,
some
Oh.
thoughts on this.
I have got some strong thoughts on the costuming. So I like the top half. I dislike the bottom half. Now, look, I'm a person who likes a bit of animal print, and I don't think we've seen animal print since Patsy. I think she was the last character that had any element of animal print on their costuming.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so I like that, but I hate it together. And for me, Siva is a bit too classy to wear this. It feels a bit, I don't know,
Mm.
just it's giving there's too much of Sandra in this. The hearts on the cheeks, the sort of. I thought the top that she was wearing was initially pink, but when I've looked at photos, it's red. She's wearing a red top, but it's such a pale red that it does give pink blue vibes, and that is Sandra, and it's just a little bit too close for me.
Honestly, originally I thought she must have had that outfit from, the stuff that was still there from Sandra.
But we know she didn't because she brought so many clothes with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had bags.
And she never wears any of them.
No.
I ranted about this last week. She routinely touches, folds clothes. She never wears any of them. Just, yeah.
I was going to say, she's got multiple copies of that same outfit. That's all she's got.
She's so used to the techno outfit. She's not used to picking out outfits, so clearly she has one Vert outfit now.
That's a good point, though, because where did these clothes come from? Because we've only ever seen her in a techno outfit. When was she wearing these clothes?
They were just clothes she would like to wear if she was ever allowed to be out of her uniform. It's shorthand. That's all it is. It's lazy shorthand to show her as a high maintenance person that she has a ton of clothes, even if it doesn't make sense because she never wears any of these clothes. I kind of wonder if the outfit now. I don't really think they put much thought into the outfits at this time. So this is just me shooting in the dark. But I kind of wonder if her outfit speaks to a bit of arrested development, because there's something incredibly childish about what Siva's wearing. And not Zandra. That's not what I think of when I see it. I think of a child who didn't get to grow up properly. Grew up in a very dysfunctional environment, and it's very Lisa Frank. It's something that I would have seen a lot of the patterns and the colors reminds me of the end of elementary school and middle school. This does not strike me as this is part of her personality. It's more like she has a stunted personality. There's a part of her. It could be visual shorthand for how different she is inside to her sisters, where Ebony is more seductress and bold, and Java never leaves her black professional look. Maybe this is their way of exploring that Siva's the child left behind. This is her inner child. That's if they put any thought into it, but
that's giving the writers too much
it
credit.
Could be that. Yeah, I know. I am giving them way too much credit.
Yeah, because I just read it as this is their version of performative femininity with the flowers and the hearts.
This is what Ram imagined her to look like in reality space.
But he didn't have any say in this, though, did he? She's put that makeup on herself.
Yeah. Years of brainwashing.
I like the idea of it being performative femininity. They tend to, aside from Tysan, when you think of his love interests Lex used to go for women. Now he doesn't, apparently. But anyway, when you think
now he goes for little girls.
Right, because they do the same thing with Gel as a possible love interest. But yeah, maybe again, but it's lazy because they did better with, say, Zandra, who definitely was performing femininity and what she thought it was, but she still looked like a person. She looked like a teenage girl. She looked like someone her age playing at being a woman, just not very much thought put into it.
Yeah, and I think you've hit the nail on the head there. It's the lack of care that the writers take over every element, that the creators take even.
Yeah, you get to see all of that in season 4.
I'm just sad she just gets stuck with this, and we never see her in anything really that different.
Oh yeah,
I'm just kind of stuck on Siva's incapability because apparently she was a part of the Locos high up with her sisters. She must have been capable. I'm just not. I'm just not like the way it's played.
We know she can look after herself. We know she can fight.
Apparently, yeah, but until she can't.
Yeah, but I mean, the same thing happens twice
until she's attacked by a blueberry pie in a cupboard. Like, I mean, it's just, you know what I mean? It's like, if you told me this scene was lifted from series 1 with Zandra, I would have believed you. Like the spraying of the perfume, the messing up the cooking, like it didn't feel like Siva from everything you've shown so far and alluded to. But yeah.
But I mean, was there an element, like Liz has said, where because she's the middle child, she's kind of been protected to some extent? Because like Java's always been there. We saw Java taking flight multiple times to look after Siva. She kept all that stuff with Lex and Siva on the down low. So is it a case that Siva has essentially benefited from her other two sisters who push everything forward? And so because she's always been in their wake, but then that's also protected her from these harsher realities of life.
But then you need to show Siva, like, when you show Siva being so capable, like she's a fighter, she's been ahead of the Technos. Like, I mean, like she's going through the city by herself. Like, if you show her being that capable, then you can't then go, oh, but her sister keep picking her up. You know what I mean? The pieces that she's falling down on. And
no, I completely agree. Yeah, no, it doesn't mesh.
That's all it is. It's thoughtlessness put into, the formation of her character, and not really wanting to put the effort into showing, okay, we want to show a level of immaturity. We want to show a level of places she hasn't developed because she hasn't had to develop. But they didn't really want to put any work into how do we show that. So it's like, hey, let's just make her completely incompetent in the real world somehow, and even though you've already shown us proof that she is capable, even in the real world. She went out into the real world. She had excursions, and you showed us where she lands on her fearfulness, her love of the danger, sneaking out to see Lex and all that. So you got to see it. So this is just lazy. That's all it is. It's really just, we'll do the bare minimum to make her look ridiculous and how she doesn't fit in with the Mallrats. Real hint at her superiority of how she feels about Verts, as if she's never been anywhere that Verts have been and smelled it. All of a sudden now it's a big deal, and you know what I mean. It's lazy. That's the only word I've got for it.
Can I also ask, have you guys discussed Siva's role in the Technos? Because I feel like that was such a miss. I'm hitting the missed opportunity button because I would have loved to have seen her technical skills, like on a computer or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They come and go as the story demands.
Yeah.
Pretty much it. They come and go when the story demands to remind us that, of course, she learned some of this stuff. And,
I say, like, all three of the top Techno general, none of them have actual technical expertise. Jay has none. Siva has none. And Java, she's PR. Like, none of them have actual techno expertise.
The only person with techno expertise right now is Ved.
Right, yeah.
Which means it was never Jay Ram wanted.
I think we've kind of established that, haven't we? That it was never Jay.
Oh.
Yeah. Ram has just been really good at recognizing what he needs people for. You need a face. You need someone who can run things. Not everybody needs to be good with a keyboard. Not everybody needs to be able to read code. That's useful, but you need other people who can do other things. And Ram is a master at finding people he can use,
Yeah, and Jay just looks nice on a billboard.
I was just going to say, it does make me wonder, going back to when Jay mentioned that he was the leader of the tribe, it makes me wonder what happened to them. Are they in the Technos?
No, it was the male part of the modes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, speaking of Jay.
I don't think we've got anything to say to each other, Java.
You're wrong. I have plenty. They're going to get rid of you, Jay, as soon as you're no longer useful. You think you're still useful, Jay? And in case you're wondering, your precious little Ebony's in on it. Now, if you'll excuse me, Ram's waiting for his massage.
Jay tries to ply Java for more information on Ram's plans, but she's annoyed that that's the only reason he's interested in her. But we also can't ignore the scenes in between this, where it feels like Java is generally getting close to Ram and has feelings for him. So yeah, panel, the conflicting feelings on display here between Java's feelings for Jay and Ram. What did you make of all?
Just another casualty to them not actually fleshing out this story, fleshing out Java, what motivates her, why she does what she does, what she feels. It's one of those things where it's like, isn't this contradictory to what she seems to want? But if we were really spending time with Java and exploring who she is, we could understand some of the complicated feelings she has and the things how she acts out because of those complicated feelings. But they didn't do that. So this is just another scene where you're just like, okay, who does she want? Does she just want somebody? Anybody who will not reject her? Because I could see that if they had been more consistent, I could see that that's what she just wants somebody to want her, to choose her and not reject her. And why she gets so offended that, Jay only comes to her when he needs information, but he's very cavalier about blowing her off for 3 hours. And at that point, she doesn't really want to help him anymore. She's just like, I'm not someone you can just use that way. That would work in a story that explored the fact that Java is cast aside very easily by everyone she knows and is the most desperate for someone to love her and choose her. Right now, she's soaking up Ram's attention because Ebony's getting a cold. And all of a sudden he notices her again. He sees her again. He's actually complimenting her, and so it could have worked. It doesn't in the story as it is. And so it's just like, oh, okay. So she wants Jay today. I don't see. She'll want Ram again in an hour. Whatever.
I do have to agree with that.
I wonder though, it's not just Ram that's not having his attention on Ebony right now because Ebony's ill, but it's also Siva not being there because Siva used to be Ram's favorite. Like, he liked Siva over her. She was just there.
Yeah.
I think the scenes between Jay and Java, though, are so strange. The kiss.
Yeah.
It's so hard to sort of get a feel about which direction we're meant to think this is going in. Because at different points, it seems as if Jay would go there with Java. And then when Ginny turns up, it's almost as if he remembers. And then also he's seen Ebony. It's just very, I don't know. And did anyone clock that when he came out of Java's room, he deliberately ran his hand over his mouth so that in front of Ebony, so she it was just so weird.
Like, why would you do that for your girlfriend? Sister's room. That is so. Oh, that's a choice, man.
It is. Can I also say, I think Java had a shower, and I just want to. Her makeup was just perfect. So, what sort of waterproof makeup is she using? It was great. I need to use that.
Yeah, can I have some of that too?
I sweat a bit, and it's running down my face.
Just that costume. It's just those fluffy slippers. They send me. Oh.
I really like that.
I loved them.
No.
I did. Like, oh, that's so cute.
I like the way that it kept the color theme as well. They're still black and white.
I didn't pick up on that. Oh, damn. But I didn't like I've never liked the whole Java's crush on Jay and trying to get him to reciprocate that. Like, that's always felt very creepy to me. It's just like, you can't force someone to like you ever, and it's just stop it.
It's a trait that runs in their family.
I'd also say that it's only in service to Ebony as well, because it basically is like Ebony's the preferred choice. Java, nobody wants her. And this guy that Java has been trying, obviously, to get into the sack for we don't know how long, but she's been trying for a long time. He meets Ebony and instantly it's Ebony, not Java.
Yep.
So it's just, again, in service to tell us how much better Ebony is than Java. But again, it doesn't really tell us anything, as Liz said, specifically about Java.
No, not at all. Such a shame. And
Mm.
we're all slamming the missed opportunity button for you, Java.
And it leaves me wondering, okay, just in this episode alone, but other episodes have been an example of this. What is Jay doing with the Technos? Like his day, when you think about whatever his job is with the Technos, how is he performing that job when he's spending the entire day in a hospital, spending overnight in a hospital? What is his communicator on his head even for? You know what I mean? He has no idea what's going on. He doesn't have a team that he's running, even though he's supposed to be a general. When does he ever meet with his own troops? He knows nothing. I'm trying to figure out, why is he even there? Why hasn't Ram actually kicked him out yet? Because Jay does not seem to have a job. He does nothing for the Technos all day long. He just wanders in and out of the hotel sometimes, but he's not there to do a job. He's there to ask a question because he never knows what's happening. Maybe if you were there doing your job, you would know what's happening, but he doesn't know the most basic things of what's happening with the regime he works for and is the general of. And I'm just like, why is he there? Why hasn't Ram gotten rid of him yet? Jay literally isn't showing up for work. And so why is he so surprised that he doesn't know what's happening ever? Maybe if you just sat around and briefed with your own men, like who's drilling them? Like, what does he do? I mean, we see Java doing her job. We see Ved doing his job. We knew Siva's job was just to be there for Ram, we are given a title of what his job is, and we never see him doing it. He shouldn't be shocked he's about to be kicked out. He shouldn't be like, oh my gosh, what a betrayal. Like, you haven't shown up for work in weeks.
Good point.
Just chilling in the canteen, just like, so what are we supposed to be doing today?
Exactly, that's him.
Also, did we ever actually see do his job as the lieutenant? Like, I can't really remember right now.
Like, the only time we actively see Jay do some kind of job is when he chases Pride and gets himself electrocuted.
Yeah.
It's like that now that security is not an issue for the Technos, Jay has nothing to do. So what are his men doing? How are they being utilized? Like, where is this whole sector of the Technos? How are they running things if they're not in charge of security? We would see they just waste the opportunity to show what the frick Jay's duties even entail, and I'm like, why are you there? What are you doing? I don't understand your position at all.
I still think he's just the public face of the Technos.
And he's not even doing that job, because wouldn't that have to do with PR? That's Java's job. That's what Java's taking care of. He has nothing to do with it. So I'm like, what is your job? You don't do a job. You just wander around.
Where can I get a job like this?
I'd be great.
Can I get a job like this?
Sign me up.
Yeah, exactly. He's living the dream.
But I mean, they've left him this nebulous since the beginning opening episodes because they're obviously going to shift him over to the Morats. They knew that was going to happen. I was like, okay, we have to leave his job very loose and undefined. Can't have him do too much that looks like he's actually a techno.
And that's why Luke was a way better lieutenant general than he ever was.
Yes.
That's why Luke had a better storyline, yeah.
Well, I know
incompetent. Say it so.
There's no such thing.
I mean, I know we make a lot of comparisons between Bray and Jay, but really, it should be Jay and Luke.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've never really compared him to Bray. He's Luke all over again.
Mm-hmm.
He gets paired up with Amber. We see him as the Bray stand-in, but he's just a Luke stand-in.
Yeah.
I mean, his only comparison to Bray is the trope of the hot guy. Like, you got to have the hot guy lead, who's supposed to be a good guy. That's the only thing he really has in common with Bray, but they really don't have anything in common, other than that's the role he plays. But his storyline, His character is just Luke done worse. And it could have worked if they actually leaned into the fact that he is worse than Luke. He doesn't actually have any remorse, or anything like that. He's incredibly selfish and narcissistic and all that stuff. If they actually leaned into that, his story could have worked. But they still want him to be a likable guy without earning it. So that's why he sucks.
I wish someone could simply point out the hypocrisy of how they behave towards Ellie for daring to go with Luke versus all these other girls in Jay.
Yeah, that always gets me. It was such a big deal that, Celine and May joined The Chosen. It was such a big deal that Trudy collaborated with The Chosen. It was such a big deal that Ellie fell in love with The Chosen, and yet in season 4, nobody cares about being with the invaders. Everybody's got a relationship with the invaders. Everybody's friends with the invaders. Like, nobody cares, and it just blows my mind that, like, you guys, it wasn't that long ago where, that was literally the crux of the angst of Ellie and Luke's story, is that no one will ever accept him for the crimes he committed, no matter how hard he tries to prove that he's a decent person and was willing to die just to stop the Guardian and to save others. It's never going to be enough. No one will ever forgive. It doesn't matter. If he had just waited a season, Luke, if you just waited a little while, your crimes wouldn't have mattered. I promise. You and Ellie could have been happy if you just waited for the Techno invasion.
He just joined the wrong cult.
Exactly. But I also think it comes down to not actually being a main character. Because Ellie, although she's a part of the Mallrats, is still a side character in the Mallrats. Whereas, you've got your Ambers, your Trudys, your Ebonies. These are the main characters. And these are the people that Jay hooks up with. So, if Luke had hooked up with,
D.
I don't know. Then you don't know, do you?
No.
No, they probably would have tried to crucify D for that.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't have to involve D actually doing something.
Good point. That is a good point.
I have so many thoughts as to D's character. Like, I had to look on the Wikipedia page and actually, like, what does D do? And I'm like, you're just there? What? I thought you did more.
Well, I think in the previous episode we were talking about Dee essentially being a cheerleader. So she's a cheerleader for Lex, she's a cheerleader for Patch, cheerleader for Celine.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. I'll have to listen to that because I'm still catching up.
But I guess the whole point of this, as you've all said, is just this is Jay's plot. The whole hospital is just about Jay and Ginny.
And making Jay seem more human.
It's so messed up that that's exactly what they're like. This whole plot is just for the whole Jay Ginny thing. That's all the hospital plot really is. It gives Patch and Dee something to do and bond over, and but it doesn't mean anything for the city. Not really. It's a way to engage the plot because all the kids are going to be getting hurt in this game constantly, and it just gives our heroes something to do, but not in a way that feels dynamic for the city and its changing and its growth and how that's affecting people in the city. Wow, it's I'm sorry, but I'm just marveling at how little care is put into any of these storylines.
Like, you could have just had Jay bust into the mall with Ginny, just carrying her, and that would have worked so much better. Would it, though?
Just briefly, before we get to the CLOE stuff, during this previous scenes with Ram and Java, there was a hint about our first kind of confirmation about living forever being the Techno's end gender. Just quickly, any thoughts about that?
I think at this point, Ram is the only one who knows what he wants the Technos to do, because I this could have been a great conversation of him and Java discussing what the agenda is, what it's always been. And it's clear that even Java has no idea what he plans on doing. And I don't know how you have a regime where basically nobody in the regime, except for Ved's literally the only one in the regime who knows what the end goal is and has been working on all of Ram's projects. Nobody else knows. I don't know how the Technos run. Because even in this conversation where he is hinting at the end goal, Java doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, you freaking serious?
Yep.
It's
I'm suddenly wondering if Ed knew the end goal was to live forever. I wonder how much of that was, fueled by his own trauma about Ginny dying, because apparently he knew her. He cared enough about her to be annoyed at his brother for not fixing things.
I think that would be giving the writing too much credit. They clearly
Yeah.
did not think as far
Yeah.
back to how did Ved actually feel about Ginny? Were they friends? Did he care about her? Who freaking knows and who cares? They didn't.
Ved's backstory? What's that?
Poor Ved doesn't get a backstory.
He gets mentioned though.
I mean, it's kind of silly because, like, yeah, what are these phases? What are they for? If no one but Ram knows the end goal, then, like, what is there question marks on phase 5 and 6? Like, it's just, I don't get it. It just doesn't make sense, the whole structure and how it's played.
The writers clearly just had this great idea. Let's introduce technology into the show. Let's introduce a tribe called the Technos, and then how do we actually do this? How do we do this? Yeah, that's the whole writers' room.
It sounds real fun when you're first thinking of the idea, because to be fair to the writers, and it's begrudging that I'm being fair to the writers, they were after a while they're kind of trapped in this world, and there were probably a lot of ideas they wanted to do with Tribe World, and for whatever reason they couldn't execute those ideas. And then you have to add in the fact that it seems like censorship was getting stronger every year, and they had to keep pulling back on their themes and what they could show and what they could write about. I can see it's clear they were getting bored with Tribe World just as it is, because there are so many directions they could have taken it and they never do, and I don't know if budget played a part in it, because locations, it started so grand and vast. I mean, it's easy to think, oh, season 1 really only took place in the mall, but when they left the mall, they really went out of their way to give us some interesting on location shots, and it felt like the world was a grand place, a dangerous grand place that the kids had to delve into, and it was very scary out there, but they spent time out there and it felt like a real world. And I feel like maybe budget got in the way of that as well, because the world just keeps shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And so I do wonder if they latched on to the idea of the Technos because it sounded really exciting at first. Think of all the storylines we could do with technology, and didn't really consider the ramifications of introducing a fantasy world into this and not being able to actually fully explore this fantasy world. Like, even after introducing this element, it still falls pretty flat of what they do with it, and yeah, I think they got bored, threw something at the wall to see if it would stick. And they were like, well, it's shiny enough. It'll keep people watching. It doesn't have to make any sense.
Wait, visual effects cost money? We don't have money.
Here, just grab some light beams.
I think the gladiator fight broke the budget.
Yeah.
They went all in on the gladiator fight. Everything else is you go to the beach or you pretend to fly. That's it.
Are we sure that wasn't just, there's, these costumes lying around. We can borrow them from the set of Xena.
I think they must have.
Oh, I need to watch it.
I don't know, but it's sometimes it makes me wonder.
I wish more thought had been put into the Techno's final plan, because it's not that I think it's just straight out ridiculous that this is what Ram wants to do. I think it can work if we spend more time with Ram and exploring he's made it clear, his issues with reality and stuff like that. And if we spent more time with him exploring, how he's been traumatized by the disappointments of real life and how he's latched on to a fantasy one where he can make anything. He can have the women he wants, he can walk, all that stuff. And he's clearly very obsessed with recreating reality to the point of even feeling pain. He doesn't want to be able to tell the difference. I think it could have worked, but it doesn't when you consider the fact that his technos, I just need to know that what they think the end goal is. It's fine if Ram has a different end goal, but we need to know what the technos think the end goal is. And once again, you can't suggest that you've done this before, and yet none of the technos know what direction we're going in. If we've done this before, I'm never letting that go. I'm sorry. They made a big mistake
Yep.
by introducing the technos as having done this before. They should have
That would
never
have
said
to-
that. It should have been more like The Chosen. We're like, you know what? We're big enough. Let's try this thing. And then so many sins would be forgiven because it's the first time they're doing it. But no, they said they've done this before, and they clearly haven't done. I don't know what they've done before.
They didn't even say they did it once before, but like in all those cities.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Several times.
Yeah.
The plan.
So it's like, okay, this may be Ram's plan, and I will accept that this is Ram's plan, that he has a different goal that's been evolving as his technology catches up with what his desires are. But we should at least know what the other technos think the goal is, outside of frickin' Jay, who doesn't know what's going on ever.
But Liz, to be fair, that would have to involve them actually giving the rest of the techno a voice and a personality, which
And
they don't
they
have.
started off so strong with that. We were introduced to a core group of technos, all with their own
I
personalities, their own
know.
dynamics with each other, their own reasons for being in the technos, and we admired that they weren't a hive mind. That was cool. Just have one of them tell me what the techno goal is that they all signed up for.
It's so unfair.
I don't need the other faceless technos to tell me what they're doing. I just need Java or Siva or Ved or Jay to tell me what the goal is here.
Exactly. Oh.
But none of
Damn
them
it.
know. None of them know where this train is going.
Ved, what is it? It's late.
I need to ask you something. It's important.
Come in.
I want Chloe to stay here with me.
No.
But
Look, I said no. No verts.
But Ebony's a vert, isn't she?
You challenging me.
I'm just saying it's not fair.
And I'm saying for one final time, no.
I'll play you for
What?
in reality space.
With all the safety settings going to be turned off. So yeah, panel, confusing mess here. What did you make of Ved's increasing dissatisfaction and obviously the attempt to quickly wrap up his story arc alongside the confusion with Chloe's disappearance?
I never thought I'd say this because I didn't like, you guys know I didn't like Ved, but I have to admit this is the one time where I would have liked to see how this was going to play out before they decided to get rid of Dan Weeks. Because the story has a lot of potential, and I'd like to know what would have triggered him to go against Ram and to challenge Ram before. Would it have still been about Chloe? Would it be about him wanting Chloe to join? And, what was the story before they had to make Ram get rid of Chloe? And of course, Ved challenging because he's trying to find her and trying to keep her. I gotta say, this is the one time I would have wanted more. I would like to know where this was going to go before they were forced to put this together.
Yeah.
Yeah, because to me it always felt like Fed would have originally gotten part of Mecha's storyline, with the exception of Slade. But
Yeah, I agree. It just feels to me like it just hurts. It just hurts because it's just all I can think about is Chloe is not here, and it feels to me that Dan's not even acting. He is clearly hurt by the whole situation, and he's just trying to do the best he can as Ved to just get through each scene he has to film. And it's just, I can't imagine how he must have felt on set with the cast and crew just feeling the weight of his actions and dealing with those consequences.
So true, yeah.
Yeah, I give him credit. He really used it in his performance. Ved is incredibly restrained here, and you can feel a depth of pain. Like whatever Dan was feeling, he used it to fuel his character, and I believed it. It felt very sincere what Ved was feeling and what he's going through and his concern and his reaching his last straw with Ram. So kudos to the actor because he used what he was feeling to give a give this part more depth than it even deserved.
Yeah. I mean, I would say,
Yeah.
though, Dan has done a great job with Ved the entire way through. I mean, that's why we all hate Ved so much, because he made us hate him with his amazing performance. And it's so sad that it's going to go out like this.
Yeah. I'm just
Mhm.
it sucks. Like I don't even have the words to describe how utterly heartbroken I am about the situation, and it's just all I can think of is Chloe's gone. Yeah. I hated that scene where Ram just said, "I don't think you're ever gonna see Chloe again," and then laughed. I'm just like, that to me felt like the writers were having a dig at the actors and also us. Because it's just like,
Yeah.
that was a very mean-spirited thing to do.
Agreed, 100%.
Yeah, that was odd.
Yeah.
Another frustrating thing is with the whole situation with Ved is that he's getting a really good villain arc. Like, for him to turn into Mega, you can see the stages. We're watching the stages of them kind of turn into a villain. That would have been fascinating because we would have been on the journey with him.
Yes.
Oh, you guys, I just had a thought. Now, you guys were all talking about the fact that it's likely that was Ved's story arc to become Mega. So clearly Mega had to be brought in instead. Do you think that that's why Slade was created as well? What if the story, instead of it being, Slade and Mega and the brothers and all the way to the end where Mega ends up sacrificing his life to save Slade, do you think that was always meant for Ved and Jay?
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Like that whole story. Ved goes to the dark side, you know what I mean? And Jay's actually trying to save him, and it gets to the point where it's like, I don't think my brother's salvageable anymore. You know what I mean? Or whatever.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, before Ved dies, he does something to save Jay's life. Like, I'm wondering, is that why Mega and Slade were completely invented? Because, wow.
I feel like that's the case, yeah.
Because what are the odds we get another brother duo story? And I'm like, you didn't even finish up the last brother story. You know what I mean? Like, and all of a sudden we just get a new one? Interesting.
Because we always needed to have that brother storyline at the end.
Yeah, that was his.
So, it does feel like that's why Slade was created. Or at least that part of Slade's story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have needed him. You wouldn't have needed Slade.
I also do remember in an interview I think you guys did, or it could have been someone else, that Jamie said that Chloe's story arc was going to go that she was going to join the Technos and get wrapped up in that.
Yeah.
And then she would have got she would have returned to the Morats and then just remembered how much she loved them. Could you imagine the heartbreak that Chloe would have had to endure finding out that Ved was dead, essentially, like just died because of the Zoot AI, and then having to leave the city and leave Ved's body, or well, ashes, just in the hotel. Like, that would have been such a hard thing for her to go through. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. Damn, that's some good storytelling right there, actually. Oh, missed opportunity button.
Ruined opportunity button.
That's a story that actually would have gone somewhere. And you wouldn't have felt like you wasted your time for being invested in it.
It's not even a missed opportunity, it's a ruined opportunity.
Yeah, ruined opportunity.
Do we need to add another button?
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
Interesting.
We come up with new insights every week.
See, now I'm really torn because I actually do happen to really like Slade and Mega, and so
Yeah.
Like I'm not sorry I got the story between Slade and Mega rather than having to see Jay limp through it. But it does make a lot of the
It
things that
does,
Jay goes
yeah.
through seem interesting because it's like clearly they had a different storyline for Jay. And he did get the short end of the stick because they were like, well, we can't use that storyline because we don't have your little brother anymore. So we're just going to create new characters. And we'll just put you on the love train of destruction, Jay. And we got 3 lives you can destroy. And it's like, oh, imagining that relationship, that story between him and Ved. I would love it for Ved because I actually do like Ved as a character. But I love Slade and Mega so much.
Yeah.
Could they swap it around so that Jay's the one that dies and Ved survives?
Oh, yes.
If only.
If only, but yeah.
I honestly, I still would have wanted to have Mega though, but I'm biased.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
We lost Ved, but we did get Mega and Slade. And even though I do think the story would have been more poignant at the end if it had been the finish line of Ved and Jay's story, you know, because you're with them from the beginning of season 4, and then that's how it ends in season 5. I think it would have been more satisfactory because we got to see the entire story of these brothers growing apart, you know, fighting with each other, and then it ending with, I freaking love you. Of course I would die to save you, you know? That would have been really poignant. It would have been more poignant than it is with Mega and Slade, who I do love, but their story doesn't have the poignancy because it kind of comes out of nowhere and we have only 1 season to delve into it, you know? And
yeah.
But
because he wanted that Bray Zoot dynamic again between the brothers, and this would have been a great thematic end to have this.
Yeah.
Like Ved saves him basically to like Zoot does. Tries to like protect Bray, you know what I mean, before being thrown over the balcony. It's like it's a nice thematic loop. So it would have been nice, but yeah, there's
double-edged sword.
Yeah,
double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It would have made so much more sense.
Well, I love Matt Robinson, so yeah, I wouldn't.
Right, exactly. I'm like, I'm sorry we didn't get to see that with Ved, but I wouldn't trade Slade.
No.
I love him too much.
I couldn't have done this without
Can
Slade and
I,
Mega. You know, it's
Yeah.
Mega's my boy. You my boy, Blue. You my boy.
So that brings us to our final thoughts of the episode.
No, wait, my zapper, it doesn't work. You're not gonna win this time. No, you don't understand. It's me. I got her.
Finally deciding to dive into the game, Mouse and Sammy encounter May, who tries to explain to them who she is, but it's presented as if this is actually CLOE, who is still trapped in May's avatar, before they zap her, while an angry Mouse argues with Sammy after he turns on her too. Later, the monsters are shocked when May physically stumbles back into the mall, while Mouse plans to get revenge on Sammy by stealing Siva's zapper. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh my god. This
Oh my
hurt.
goodness. Oh my gosh.
If you needed any more confusion, here you go.
They didn't do enough damage in the last episode. They decided to pull this confusing. What does it mean when she says it's me?
I'm
It's
guessing
so confusing.
that was
It
Chloe,
was.
though, wasn't it?
It
In
was
the body
Chloe.
of May.
That's what I'm saying. It's so confusing. And so that means Chloe is still strapped up to this game somewhere. Just somewhere. Okay. And like, okay, so where you took her you took her away from the room where Ved last saw her, but you still have her wrapped up in this game. It's so dumb. I'm sorry. I hate it. And it because it's the only thing that makes sense. It can't be May telling these kids it's me, because she's never met them and she would know who the frick they are, you know? So it has to be Chloe trapped in this avatar. So that just seems really silly and complicated, more complicated than it needs to be than just taking Chloe, either getting rid of her, deleting her, or shipping her off to some slavers like he did everybody else. It makes no sense that he just has her in a lab still hooked up to this game, trapped in May's avatar. And I hate it. I hate it with the fire of 1,000 suns.
I have I have a headcanon now for this. I believe that they put
Mhm.
one of those reality space visors over her head after they took off that thing. And when, can I just say, Laura's acting in this, she is terrified. Like, she is clearly
Yeah.
scared, and I'm just like, oh my god, no, no, please, no. Like, why are you still there? No, get out, get out, get out. And it's just, Chloe is just so scared.
I wonder. Okay, I'm gonna try and give this a little more credit than it deserves, even though I hate it. All right, but you guys know I like to be fair. We just had a scene where Ram basically taunts that we're never gonna see Chloe again, very highly indicating that he's gotten rid of her. They never say kill. They don't say die. They don't have the cojones for that
Mm-hmm.
anymore. But it's what it's
Not even
implying
deleted.
is gonna. Right, but it's implying that that's what's gonna happen to Chloe. And then when Ved challenges him, he's like, "Oh, you want to do that with me? Fine, let's do it, but we'll have no protections." So what if Sammy and what you call it are actually responsible for killing Chloe?
Oh,
Oh god.
well,
Like, what if in that moment, like the the gloves were already off, so when they zapped her, Chloe was zapped out of existence.
Well, that is
Oh,
a
That's
good
a
point.
nice headcanon, but then Sammy shoots mouse,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't work.
You're right. See, that's what happens every time I try to give these people credit.
Too much. You gave him way too much credit.
No. No, I'm with Liz on this.
Huh?
We've seen them being able to put the safeties off on one person and not the other.
Ooh,
Yeah,
hope
that's true.
survives.
That's true. The other thing I was going to suggest is when she went in, could her consciousness now just exist there, but her body is
Stop
gone?
it. Tamsin, stop it. We're not going there.
No,
We're
I'm
not
not going
there.
there.
No, we are not going into that territory.
Not metaphysical part.
You have to have the
You know.
headset to still be stuck there.
She's just strapped up somewhere alongside Bray, who apparently they've seen in the game. So,
Yeah, like,
deleted means never getting conscious again.
I'd say the acting is fine. You know what I mean? As Stuart pointed out, I think Laura Wilson does a really great job of selling true terror, and if that is Chloe, that makes sense. That she would be terrified, like, don't shoot me, as if she knows that if you do, that's it for me. Don't take me out. But I mean, that's Laura Wilson. She's always nails it, and I also like that if that's the case, if that's the end for Chloe, for whatever reason, I like how it takes place with two innocent children simply playing a game. I actually do like that speaks to Ram's sadism. They have no idea what they're doing. They're playing a game. They're playing laser tag as far
yeah.
as they're concerned. And then as soon as they take out this person they don't recognize and what that might imply, they get into an argument with each other, and then just mindlessly Sammy zaps Mouse, I do kind of like that. Again, if there's something deeper going on here and they didn't do a good job of getting us there, if there is something deeper there, I like the way it's
Yeah.
framed.
Me too.
You're giving them a lot of grace.
I am, and it also speaks to their vindictiveness of even getting rid of Chloe. Not they way they have decided to we haven't seen it this bad since what they did to Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's almost personal the way they want to erase her legacy, like she ever existed, like she ever mattered. The vindictiveness of getting rid of Chloe the way they've done, and like with no answers, and like just these breadcrumbs that we're the fans trying to make sense of what happened to Chloe, and then if this is the way Chloe went out, how thoughtless, how cold and cruel that this is the way Chloe would be taken out, begging two children who don't recognize her not to shoot her. It just speaks to something personal was going on when they took her from the show.
Yeah, and can you imagine, like, if that's Chloe, how is she to know that why these kids don't recognize her? Can she see her own avatar?
She could.
Oh God, yeah.
I believe she had like a look at her hand. I'm not me, but that's cool. And then when it comes to this scene, she can't actually articulate, hey, it's me. It's me. Like, it's CLOE, it's me. And that's just, oh, it's so hard.
It's dark as well.
That's us giving a lot of
Yeah.
credit. I will
Oh,
admit,
yeah.
we're giving them a lot of credit because we're trying to make sense of this. And the knowledge of what was going on behind the scenes makes this very ugly and vindictive, in my opinion.
Can I also touch on just the kids acting in all the scenes? Like, I could tell that they were worried, but it's also like, I did mention to Lance in our conversation, like, could you imagine how sad that they must have been just filming these scenes after Jamie was fired? Because there is like a genuine sadness there, and like a fear. Like, could you imagine how, like, if you mess up in that way, your job security is gone. You cannot work on the show anymore. Like, you are gone. And then,
You can be gone next.
yes, exactly. To that with Celine. Why weren't you more worried? This is your daughter that you were raising, and she's not in the mall. Where's the fear? Where's the like apprehension that something is clearly not right? Like, I would be going out of my mind.
I will say that's the one I do think that works because of the distance. Now, granted, they have not handled the Chloe Celine storyline very well, but it does make sense when you, I can speak as a parent with older children and nieces and nephews all around that age. You just get used to certain things. And Celine has just gotten used to Chloe not being around. She doesn't approve of what Chloe's doing, but she also has accepted her helplessness to the situation, and she's distracted. And so when Chloe's not there, it takes a while before it sinks in that something is wrong, that Chloe should have come home by now. At first, she's just like, well, you know, your older sister, she's never here. She's always off with that boy we disapprove of, living a life I disapprove of, but I can't control what she's doing. I just, I know she'll come home, right? And that complacency that happens sometimes as a parent. And then the moment it hits her that Chloe still hasn't come home, people are looking for her. Ved is looking for her. That's when it comes crashing down on Celine. And I thought that was actually very realistic.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks because as a parent, you do get judged, and but you are also only human, and that's when it hits you that you have become too complacent with her not being around to the point that if she's missing, vital time has been wasted when you could have found her. If Ved is searching for her, then you know something is bad and it hits Celine all at once. And I actually think that was realistically played of what happens when you are in a bad place with a young person, your child, a niece, a nephew, a cousin, a friend. You do get used to being like, oh, well, whatever. I don't know where they are, but they always come home, and you kick yourself later. You will. When something bad happens to them, you're very angry with yourself, and everybody's angry with you. Like, how could you have not noticed? And you're trying to explain yourself. This is why I didn't notice. I just got used to this their behavior. So that felt very realistic to me.
Mm-hmm.
I did not really. The end scene with Ved and Ram. Now that there was a nice bit of subtle acting by Megan Alatini there, where she tried to warn off Ved, and I liked that. That was a nice little acting choice there. Like, I don't think that was in the script, but she just she's like saying to Ved, "Don't do it, don't do it. This isn't worth it. This isn't worth your life." And I really felt like Java really just cared for Ved.
My brain is still going, how could Ram decide suddenly that he doesn't need Fed any longer
Yeah.
when he was the only competent one?
It's classic narcissism. That's all it
Yeah.
is with him. I will say this about this episode. I thought the acting was really good throughout it, and compared to some of the other episodes, I think even though the episode in general, the storyline is still a hot mess. The waves of how the show goes, up and down, up. You never know what next episode's going to be, what the tone is going to be, how people are going to be feeling, all that. but in its own little bubble, just the singular scenes by themselves, how they're performed, how they're written, I didn't think they were done that bad. I actually was like admiring some of the work. I was like, it sucks that the whole project is a mess and it's for nothing. But in this scene alone, the performance is good. It's actually written. It feels a little natural, the way people are talking to each other. And I'll give it that.
100% agree. The acting in it alone was quite good. I loved Morgan Hubbard's acting as Patch. And I feel like Morgan doesn't really get a lot of emotive scenes where he gets to be introspective and sad. And so when he was talking about his brothers to Jay, that felt like, oh, damn, I felt that for you.
Yeah, Morgan's wasted.
Yeah, I agree. He is. I like that. Again, if you ignore the fact that they've been wishy-washy of how Patch feels about his brothers. I mean, in the last episode, Celine is the one who had to remind him of his brothers. But in the scene alone, the way he says to Jay, my brothers were part of that price.
Yeah.
That you were willing to pay to achieve your goal. You know, that's such an honest moment. Like, does it seem worth it to you now? And, you know, and Jay has nothing to say. Again, I did like that scene because it felt super genuine between these two people, where he's looking for, the same thing that Luke was looking for. Like, please understand, I'm not a bad person.
Absolution.
This is what I was. Thank you. That's the word. And having someone say, yeah, I get it, but my brothers, who were two little boys, were a part of the price you were willing to pay, you know? And,
You
of course,
sacrificed them for this.
right, so that nobody would get sick again, dude. And it's like, it's unspoken. Do you really think that price was worth it?
Mm.
And it goes unanswered because Jay can't answer it right now. So there were just like a lot of moments like that felt really natural. Again, season 4 is the sum of its parts are greater than the whole, just in general. And yeah,
but it always comes back. It always comes back to the great performances that the actors give.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're constantly saving it in some way.
Yeah.
All right, that brings Series 4, Episode 36 to a close. Thank you very much to the panel, and you can show your support by clicking on that like and subscribe and following us on all the major platforms. You can also leave us a comment or get in touch if you'd like to take part in a future episode of the podcast yourself. Just search for thetribe.co.uk or Conversations on Eagle Mountain. You can also throw us a donation. Just head on over to buymeacoffee.com/thetribe.co.uk, and we'll see you next time for episode 37. So until then, bye.
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 Bye.